Have you ever wondered how societies have dealt with wrongdoing throughout history? Let's delve into the Middle Ages, a time when concepts of crime and punishment were deeply intertwined with the prevailing spiritual and supernatural beliefs. During this era, justice was often a divine concept rather than a civil one. Trial by ordeal was a common practice. Imagine being judged innocent or guilty by enduring physical trials, holding burning hot iron or plunging a hand into boiling water. The belief was that a higher power would intervene to protect the innocent. Moreover, the community heavily influenced verdicts. Spectators at these trials were not just passive observers. Their perceptions and reactions could sway decisions, blending communal judgment with supernatural intervention. By the late Middle Ages, however, a transformation was underway. Societies began to shift towards more secular approaches. Legal systems started emphasizing human reasoning and evidence over divine signs, paving the way for modern legal principles. As the grip of medieval superstition loosened, the stage was set for a more reasoned approach to crime and punishment. Imagine a world where every punishment is designed to be a lesson, not just a penalty. This notion began to take shape during the Enlightenment, a period that sparked a revolution in many fields of thought, including criminology. Central to this new thinking were philosophers like Cesare Beccaria and Jeremy Bentham, who challenged the brutal justice systems of their time. Cesare Beccaria, in his seminal work on crimes and punishments, argued that the purpose of punishment should be deterrence, not retribution. He insisted that penalties should be proportionate to the crimes committed and should be predictable enough to serve as a deterrent. His ideas emphasized the concept of free will, suggesting that individuals are rational beings who evaluate the consequences of their actions before deciding to commit a crime. Similarly, Jeremy Bentham introduced the idea of utilitarianism, proposing that laws should achieve the greatest good for the greatest number, further influencing the approach towards legal reform. This shift marked the dawn of classical criminology, setting the foundations for modern legal systems. But what if criminals aren't just rational actors making poor choices? This question marks a pivotal shift in the field of criminology, leading us into the late 19th century and the birth of positive criminology. Imagine a time when the focus shifted from mere punishment to probing the deeper causes of criminal behavior. Enter Cesare Lombroso, an Italian criminologist whose ideas were as groundbreaking as they were controversial. Lombroso suggested that criminality might be inherited, identifiable through physical characteristics, a theory that mingled biology with destiny. His work opened the door to considering biological and psychological factors in understanding crime, a radical departure from the purely rational view of classical criminology. This era saw criminologists beginning to integrate science into their studies more rigorously. They delved into psychology, exploring how a person's mind and environment could influence their propensity for crime. Early genetics also came into play, hinting at predispositions that might tip the scales towards criminal behavior. This era brought science to the forefront of criminological thought, paving the way for more nuanced theories. Could crime be more about where you're from rather than who you are? As we venture deeper into the history of criminology, we encounter a transformative shift that occurred in the early 20th century. This period marked the entrance of sociology into the criminological arena, a move that fundamentally altered the way crime was perceived and studied. The sociological perspective on criminology suggests that crime is not merely a product of individual pathology, but is deeply intertwined with social structures, cultural influences, and economic conditions. Theorists like Emil Durkheim proposed that societal norms and the collective conscience influence individual behaviors, including criminal acts. Durkheim's insights laid the groundwork for understanding how societal cohesion or lack thereof could impact crime rates. Building on these ideas, Robert K. Merton introduced the concept of anomie, a state of normlessness that occurs during rapid social change. Merton argued that when societal expectations are unclear, or when there is a significant discrepancy between goals and means, crime becomes a more likely outcome. This perspective shifted the focus from individuals to environments, influencing both policy and public perception. Now, knowing what causes crime, how do societies respond to correct it? Criminology, the study of crime and its causes, has long influenced how societies manage and rehabilitate offenders. As we've traversed through the history of criminology, we've seen theories evolve, from the classical school focusing on human rationality to the sociological perspectives that consider broader social structures. Each of these insights has left a significant imprint on correctional systems worldwide. In the classical criminology era, punishment was deemed necessary to deter crime, leading to a system where the severity of punishment was tailored to the crime, aiming to outweigh the pleasure derived from committing the crime. This philosophy birthed the just deserts model, which emphasizes giving offenders what they deserve, but does little to consider their potential for rehabilitation. However, as the positive criminology wave surged, it brought with it a shift towards understanding the biological and psychological factors that may predispose individuals to criminal behavior. This understanding paved the way for correctional strategies that focus not just on punishment, but on rehabilitation. Programs aimed at treating substance abuse, mental health issues, and providing educational and vocational training began to be integrated into the correctional system, reflecting a belief in the potential for change within individuals. The sociological approach to criminology further expanded the horizons of correctional strategies by highlighting the role of environmental and social factors in crime. Community policing, for instance, emerged from the understanding that public cooperation and trust in law enforcement are crucial for effective crime prevention. This strategy involves law enforcement officers engaging with the community to build relationships and work collaboratively to maintain public safety. Despite these advancements, the effectiveness of different correctional approaches continues to be a topic of intense debate. Questions linger about the best ways to reduce recidivism, the fairness of sentencing practices, and the overall efficacy of the justice system in achieving its rehabilitative goals. As criminology continues to evolve, so too does our approach to correction, aiming not just to punish but to rehabilitate and prevent. With every new theory, criminology inches closer to answering the complex questions of why crime occurs and how we can prevent it. From the Middle Ages, where supernatural explanations ruled the roost, to the birth of classical criminology, which emphasized human rationality and free will, the journey of criminology has been profound. The shift towards positive criminology marked a pivot to scientific study, viewing criminals through the lens of biological and psychological factors. As sociology entered the scene, it brought a broader societal perspective, examining how social structures and interactions influence criminal behavior. Today, criminology is on the brink of new frontiers. The rise of cybercrime demands an analysis that transcends traditional boundaries, delving into the digital realm where modern thieves and fraudsters operate. Meanwhile, predictive policing and data analytics represent a seismic shift towards preemptive measures, using big data to forecast criminal activity before it happens. As society changes, so does crime, and the field of criminology will continue to adapt, seeking to understand and mitigate the ever-evolving challenges of crime.